I've been too erudite.
Wonderful attempt to get out of it, but it was magical lantern should have been, yes.
Indeed.
Stephen, you've got in with another correct challenge, and there are 27 seconds, great invention starting now.
Well, without wishing to seem sycophantic, to be perfectly honest, Ian Messiter, 45 years ago, invented a game called Just a Minute, which has entertained the nation for all that time, and not one episode has not been presented by this man here.
Oh, Julian, you challenged.
Repetition of not.
I know, but I'd like him to finish.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yes, every single show. And I did the pilot, and I'm still doing it.
How many episodes is it?
850.
Yeah. Good Lord, round of applause.
Yeah.
And do you think you're getting the hang of it?
Slowly, Paul.
I think you are. I really think you're improving.
I think so.
Yeah, I think you've got it now.
So, Julian, new challenge there was, just remind me what the
Repetition of not.
Yes, unfortunately, not a
Double negative.
A tough challenge, but it's
Yeah, he's a
correct.
tough man. Tough man.
Julian, you have...
Talk about me as if I'm not in the room.
Julian, great inventions. 7 seconds starting now.
The telephone is a fantastic invention. I speak to my mother every day at least once, and she informs me of her...
So Julian Clary was then speaking as a whistle weighing gain that extra point. And Julian, it's your turn to begin. Around the campfire. ...60 seconds as usual, starting now.
I sit around the campfire, generally waiting for my billy to boil, and you would be surprised how quickly this occurs. There's this hissing sound, and I think, here comes Daddy. And while I'm around the campfire...
Paul challenge.
Well, it's just nonsense, isn't it? Here comes Daddy. Hesitation.
Yes, no.
There was a hesitation,
There was.
yes. You have around the campfire, 45 seconds, starting now.
I remember going camping. I was about 9 years old with the Catholic Church. They'd organised it, and so I went along with some fellow pupils roughly my age. And there was a campfire, and the tents were placed all around this magnificent burning fiery furnace. And we would soak up the heat and also look to our fellow candidates in the world.
Stephen
You
challenge.
said fellow before it.
Oh, did I?
Yes,
Oh, yes, I think I
all
did.
these fellows, yes, right, you did. And, Stephen, you listened well, you got in there. 24 seconds are still available. Around the campfire, starting now.
I was never a cub or a scout. That didn't ever appeal to me, I have to be.
Julian challenge.
It was an involuntary spasm. But can you lean forward?
I didn't want to block the view. I felt like I was...
No, I was thinking ever and never, and I was...
No, it was a mistake, was it? Stephen, you have another point. You have 20 seconds. Subject, around the campfire, starting now.
There's a great comic scene in Mel Brooks's film Blazing Saddles where the cowboys are all around the campfire eating beans, and then slowly, one after the other, they lift their thighs and an explosion of wind occurs which lasts about 20 seconds, it seems. It was at a time. It was amazing. It was a really shocking thing.
Julian challenge.
D-time, he said.
Did I?
D-time.
No,
At the time. At the time.
Some sort of spiritual.
I understand. No. Julian, I think that's a little bit banana. Oh, you've only got 3 seconds left, and your time starts now.
It's where humanity began to tell stories and explain the way the universe worked.
So Stephen Fry was then speaking as a whistle weighing gain that extra point. And he's moved forward. He's now in second place. Julian Clary is still in the lead. He's 2 or 3 points ahead of Stephen. Then Paul Merton, one behind. Russell's trailing just a little. Stephen, it's your turn to begin. The subject is The Portrait in My Attic. 60 seconds starting now.
I think it's supposed to be a reference to a picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, though, in fact, in that novel, the picture is...
Russell's challenged.
Yeah, hesitation.
Whether it's correct or not, I think this audience thinks it's
Definitely.
They're with me.
Russell,
Thank you very much.
you have the subject of the portrait in my attic. 52 seconds starting now.
There are various portraits in my attic. Lots of my dead relatives have been painted over the years and put in gilt frames and hung on walls.
Paul
Your
Chance.
dead relatives have been painted and hung in frames. What sort of bizarre satanic ritual is this? A portrait is one thing, but hanging your dead...
No, we loved your interruption.
Yeah.
And we get a bonus point for that. But Russell was interrupted. You're keeping going on the subject quite well. So we...
Thanks.
Say the subject is still the portrait in my attic. 45 seconds starting now.
So, looking at the timeline of members past, they were immortalised by artists, famous or not, of the day. They were great works on the wall.
Paul
Who did that?
Chance.
Well, there was a bit of a
There were a bit
of a gap.
So, Paul, correct challenge. The portrait in my attic. 35 seconds starting now.
The portrait of my attic, as Stephen remarks, is referring to the picture of Dorian Gray.
Stephen Chance.
No, I was referring to the opposite. It is a mistake to believe there was a picture in the attic.
Oh.
It was actually in the schoolroom that he kept his
Oh, was
portrait,
it?
not in the attic.
Oh.
You have to read the book to discover that. It's actually kept in the schoolroom.
So why has the attic come about?
It's just one of those things people didn't read the book clearly. They know it's in an upper room. And these days, people don't have schoolrooms. Some people don't have schoolrooms upstairs in their house.
Yes.
Because they...
Some of them got turned into comprehensives.
Exactly. We live in a different time. Autre temps, autre mœurs. But in a picture of Dorian Gray, it's a schoolroom, not an
interesting.
attic.
I mean, we all refer to it as the portrait.
You
in the
do,
attic.
but you're wrong to. That's the point. It's deviated.
I think we should move on now.
Yeah, it's getting a little bogged down, I grant.
No, I love it when we have these little frissons between us all.
exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But, Stephen, they've been said that you can definitely have it.
Yes.
And there are 31 seconds, the portrait in my attic, starting now.
So it is commonly meant to be... commonly, Coventry, Montgomery. This is the way we talk.
You're wriggling very well, but it's not right. No, what's your challenge?
Deviation, he said commonly,
Commonly,
unless
yes,
it's
right.
some word from
Yes.
Oxbridge we don't know about.
So, correct challenge,
Uxbridge?
Julie.
Did you say Uxbridge?
That's where I went.
All right.
29 seconds, the portrait in my attic, Julian, starting now.
The portrait in my attic is by Damien Hirst, and I wasn't best pleased when I looked at it the other day and it was covered in spots. So I phoned up the artist and said, what's all this about? Apparently, it's his technique, it's his...
Paul Chance.
A repetition of it's his.
Followed by Paul's right.
Funny thing is, if anyone in this room knows about Damien Hirst's technique, it's Russell Tovey, who owns quite a few of them, don't you? You're a big collector.
Not of Damien Hirst,
Oh,
but I'd collect art. Yeah, I wish
he
I
does.
did have a Damien
You
Hirst.
don't have a Damien Hirst?
No, I wish I got in there. Have you?
Would you two mind if we got on with the
Sorry,
show?
sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I've got a Damien Hirst, which I've hung above the mantelpiece. It's actually him. Painted him up and everything.
Paul, you
One
had a...
person's clapping. Don't do that on your own. Somebody will throw you a fish. Don't do it on your own. They're all coming out tonight, aren't they? You still here?
Paul,
Yeah, oh yes, go on then.
you've got a correct challenge.
Yes.
And you have 18 seconds, the portrait in my attic, starting now.
The portrait in my attic is a chalk drawing of myself when I was 8 years old, as I looked when I attended Butlins holiday camp in Clacton. I remember the artist now. He sat me down on the chair, he looked me in the eye and said, this will be a challenge. To capture such intense beauty is almost beyond my skills, but I... None of that was true.
Oh, Paul Merton was then speaking as a whistle when gained that extra point for doing so. And the situation is he has moved...
We having a séance?
No, I always think the little ice cream van's going to come by then. And the same bell we used to have when we were young, and the ice cream van. Did you ever have that? Came along.
When the all clear sounded. Ding, ding, ding.
It means that we've only time for one more round.
No, we're not having a séance.
No, no sounds. And whose turn is it to begin? Oh, it's Julian. And you're out in the lead, and here's the subject. Keep going, and you'll stay there. You're only 1 point ahead as we go into the final round. Julian is 1 point ahead of Paul Merton, and he's 3 points ahead of Stephen. And Russell's have a job to catch up in this last round. But not to worry, Russell. Your contribution is what matters.
Yes.
Not the points. Right. And Julian, The subject is Marie Antoinette. What a glorious historical subject. 60 seconds starting now.
Marie Antoinette, of course, had a very fortunate life up to a point, and that was when she was beheaded for offering people cake. Well, I can quite understand.
Russell challenged.
Hesitation? Kind of.
Kind of.
I'm just desperate to get in as well, so...
We're desperate to hear from you. So you've got 50 seconds if you
I've got
want
to talk
it.
about that.
Marie Antoinette starting now.
Marie Antoinette was one of the most famous people to have her head cut off alongside Anne Boleyn and Charles I. This happened because up to a point, as my right honourable gentleman was saying earlier, she was liked and then disliked by the French people because she was Austrian and they didn't like them. They were an enemy.
Stephen
Well,
Jones.
yeah, too many likes, really. There were quite a lot of likes. I'm sorry.
Like-
Oh, I didn't mean
No,
to
I
do
know,
that. I feel like a bully now. I feel
All
like
right,
a mean
I'll sit back
girl.
and just...
No.
Lean
I'll
forward.
make a deliberate mistake.
Even if you don't say much, you might as well be in the programme.
Stephen is a correct challenge, so we give you the point, and it's Marie Antoinette, the subject, and 29 seconds starting now.
Indeed, she was Austrian. The French called her when they started to dislike her, as you said, l'Autrichienne, which meant ostrich bitch in French, which was a very nasty insult because she was not popular.
Paul challenge.
The repetition of French.
There was.
Yes,
French
was
twice.
French,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
She was French.
And a swear word.
And a swear word, right. But a French one. So it'll only be letters from French people.
Well, you could have said French letters, but you didn't say that, so that was good. That joke was not explored. Well done.
Paul, you have 18 seconds. Tell us something about Marie Antoinette, starting now.
Marie Antoinette is the name of my cat. She's a beautiful creature, half Persian and 50%...
Julian challenge.
No, no.
Oh, well, that's good enough for me. What do you mean, no?
Well, I thought you were going to say half again, as you nearly did.
You were
But
anticipating, in other words,
Exactly.
half Persian, and you didn't say
Yeah,
half
and I
again.
hate myself for it.
Why?
Because he didn't say half
Well, you
again.
only hate yourself because you're giving Paul another point.
That's why he hates himself.
Oh, no, now you're going to win.
No one. God, that's the last thing that should happen.
No, Julian, it was an incorrect challenge. So, Paul, you have another point, and you have 13 seconds. Marie Antoinette starting now.
The litter tray is placed by the back door. Her expectant eyes look up at me and I say, yes, it's time to play. And so we pull back the curtains. She looks down the end of the garden and her rather haughty nose and says to me...
So, Paul Merton, speaking as a whistle went, gained that extra point. And a little while ago, when that tinkle occurred, this was the last round. So let me give you the final score. Russell Tovey, who's never played the game before, came...
Last.
last. He actually didn't come last, he came in fourth place.
Which is five people, he would have come fifth.
Stephen, who does so well, usually, came in third place. But out in the lead, 2 points ahead of Julian Clary, was Paul Merton. So we say, Paul, you are the winner today.
You were right, I didn't realise.
Again, it remains me to say, final thank you. These four fine players of the game. So from this delightful audience here in Television Centre, and from me, Nicholas Parsons, and this wonderful team, goodbye, thank you, and do join us again the next day we play Just a Minute.
There's more comedy with the self-proclaimed show business legend Count Arthur Strong, who somehow manages to convince himself he's with the Knights of the Round Table. That's starting on BBC Radio 4 now. We're with the Eggheads here on BBC 2 next.
I've been too erudite.
Wonderful attempt to get out of it, but it was. Magic lantern should have been, yes.
Indeed.
Stephen, you've got in with another correct challenge, and there are 27 seconds. Great invention starting now.
Well, without wishing to seem sycophantic, to be perfectly honest, Ian Messiter, 45 years ago, invented a game called Just a Minute, which has entertained the nation for all that time. And not one episode has not been presented by this man here.
Oh, Julian, you challenge.
Repetition of not.
I know, but I'd like him to finish.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yes, every single show. And I did the pilot and I'm still doing it.
How many episodes is it?
850.
Yeah. Good Lord. Round of applause.
Yeah.
And do you think you're getting the hang of it?
Slowly, Paul.
I think you are. I really think you're improving.
You think so?
Yeah, I think you've got it now.
So, Julian, new challenge there was, just remind me what the
Repetition of not.
Yes, unfortunately, not.
Double negative.
A tough challenge, but it's
Yeah, he's a
correct.
tough man. He's a tough man.
Julian, you have...
Talk about me as if I'm not in the room.
Julian, great inventions. 7 seconds starting now.
The telephone is a fantastic invention. I speak to my mother every day at least once, and she informs me of her...
So Julian Clary was then speaking as a whistle weighing gain that extra point. And Julian, it's your turn to begin. Around the campfire. ...60 seconds as usual, starting now.
I sit around the campfire, generally waiting for my billy to boil, and you would be surprised how quickly this occurs. There's this hissing sound, and I think, here comes Daddy. And while I'm around the campfire...
Paul challenge.
Well, it's just nonsense, isn't it? Here comes Daddy. Hesitation.
Yes, no.
There was a hesitation,
There was.
yes. You have around the campfire, 45 seconds, starting now.
I remember going camping. I was about 9 years old with the Catholic Church. They'd organised it, and so I went along with some fellow pupils roughly my age. And there was a campfire, and the tents were placed all around this magnificent burning fiery furnace. And we would soak up the heat and also look to our fellow candidates in the world.
Stephen
You
Chance.
said fellow before, didn't you?
Oh, did I?
Yes,
Oh, yes, I think I
all
did.
these
Yes.
fellows, yes,
Yeah.
right, you did. And Stephen, you listened well, you got in there, 24 seconds.